Hello and welcome. I'm Sabrina Andrucci. I'm a hypnotist, a coach, an intuitive and strategist. And if you're here watching this video, I'm so excited for you because what this means is that you are looking at investing in yourself. You are looking at what you can do to own your success. You are searching for the right fit coach, whether that's me or somebody else. And this is really exciting times. It's a little bit of a precipice. I think you might be feeling possibly at the end of your tether, possibly looking for that next level, maybe looking for a kick in the butt. And I wanted to do this video so that you can get a feel and a vibe in terms of whether I'm the right person for you. So if you landed on this page, you're interested in potentially working for me, you may have a few questions, and I'm hoping that this video answers them for you. And then, of course, if you still want to schedule some time with me, you absolutely can. There is a button just below this video where you can fill out a form so that I can get a little bit to know more of you, and then we'll set up some time together to really get into those questions. But this video is really to answer who am I, what am I about, what is working with me like, and hopefully that answers some of those questions for you. So let's get straight into it. As I said, I'm Sabrina. I'm a hypnotist, intuitive coach, and I work with people that are really looking at getting rid of that unconscious stuff. You know, you might be finding yourself constantly hitting against this brick wall. It's like this invisible kind of glass ceiling, if you will. You find yourself constantly going back to those same patterns, those same habits, and you just don't know what it is. You've done the research, you've done the courses, you've maybe even hired a coach, maybe you're even working with somebody at the moment, but you're just finding that things are not clicking over for you. Now, this is where I know that I'm able to support you. For me, I'm really focused in terms of subconscious programming or unconscious reprogramming. You see, the brain learns by repetition. It does this in a sense of taking the caloric load off the conscious mind. So to give you a really tangible example of that, if you drive or if you know somebody who does drive, there was a time in your life before you knew how to drive, or before that person who drives knew how to drive, where there was a lot of conscious thinking and thought going into this. There was a lot of like, where are the pedals? How do I steer? What is the indicator like? What happens with the gears, etc. There was a lot of active thinking, and this would be applicable to anything that you're learning new. Maybe you've just started in a new job, or you can remember back to school having to learn how to write or read, where there was a lot of real deep consciousness going into it, a lot of thinking, a lot of effort. It felt so difficult. It felt such a struggle in a lot of ways. In fact, you almost felt like, God, am I ever going to get this right? Am I ever going to know how to drive? Am I ever going to know how to read? Am I ever going to know how to write? Now, what the brain does, especially when we start to practice this, which is what every new skill requires, is a sense of practice, is the brain notices there's a repetitive pattern here. There's a repetitive behavior, and it goes, okay, let's start to create this as an unconscious program, because if I can take the load off the conscious mind and I can create this unconscious automatic program, it's going to take and alleviate that conscious effort off the calorie consuming part of the brain. So with enough practice and with enough repetition, the brain creates a program. So now you get in your car and you don't even think about it. Now you pick up a pen and you write without even thinking. You read without even thinking. In fact, you've all done those little tests online where they jumble the letters up and you, for some reason, can still read the words. And that's because the brain has learned a pattern. Now, the same applies to any kind of approach that we have, whether that's procrastination, anxiety, perhaps you have people-pleasing behaviors, perhaps you have sleepless nights, perhaps you battle with chronic pain, a whole myriad of things. The brain has learned this pattern. This brain has decided that this is a required program in order for you to function in your day-to-day life. But your conscious mind is going, I don't want to do this anymore. Now, what's happening is you are trying to use willpower, which is conscious, to come up against whatever that unconscious program is. So you're like, right, today I'm going to eat healthy, and you've made the decision, and you start off, and breakfast is fantastic and lunch is great, and you do pretty good on dinner, although you might shove a piece of cheese in your mouth before you've completed the meal, and then before you know it, it's 10 o'clock at night and you've eaten 3 slabs of chocolate. And that's because you're using conscious willpower, which effectively throughout the day becomes depleted because the brain is using calories and the brain actually fatigues throughout the day. But you're using conscious willpower to try and change an unconscious habit. So using subconscious reprogramming tools like RTT, rapid transformational therapy, hypnotherapy, NLP, rapid relief technique, emotional freedom technique, conversational hypnosis, and a variety of different techniques that I'm trained and certified in, we are able to pinpoint firstly where that activation point is. What is that moment of meaning? What is that moment where your brain goes, let's run the anxiety program, let's run the eating chocolate program, let's run the procrastination program. And typically this is linked to some environmental stimuli that is based on happenings in our environment. So the brain activates that program, and before you know it, you're literally running on autopilot. Your life is literally kind of like running out of your hands. It's happening without you even being able to think consciously. So when we can get the unconscious mind on board with what your conscious intention is, we can start making lasting change. What's really important for me in terms of working with my clients is not only doing the work in the session, but actually equipping you with tools and techniques to do outside of the session as well. It's really important that you are able to repetitively change your brain. So I give you the skills and the tools and the techniques to really arm you and equip you with what it is that you need in order to make change for yourself. Now, in terms of going forward with working with me, the first session will be set up. You're able to book that, and that includes a really wonderful, supportive welcoming pack. There's a little video from me as well. There's a nice form to complete, what I call an illumination questionnaire, and that is really to illuminate for you, but also for me, where your blocks are, what it is that you actually want, what is the objective, what is your expectations out of our time working together. You're able to subscribe to a 28-day support email sequence from me as well. So I pop into your inbox once or twice a week with some really well-timed and formulated emails to support you in your first month with me. So those emails may include, firstly, like, let's assess where you are right now. Take cognition so that you can track where your change is. You can look back in a month's time and go, things have actually changed. I talk about some journaling prompts, how to set up your habits so that you can actually slot in the techniques and the tools that I'm offering you so that you can actually do them in your day-to-day life so things can become easier. I talk about how to support yourself, how to take what we're learning out of the session and implement it, how to calm your nervous system. So there's that as well. And then I've got a beautiful digital goodie bag, which includes a wonderful guidebook to really get a bird's eye view and full overview assessment of your life. Where are you perhaps lacking motivation, and where perhaps you are over-investing, so that you can find a little bit more balance and harmony in your life, and really giving you the sort of step-by-step map to unfold the next step for yourself. Also included is a hypnosis. Of course, I have to include a hypnosis, but this hypnosis is firstly to give you a taste of what hypnosis feels like. I think there's a lot of bad press around it. People are a little bit scared of it. I know I was terribly scared of hypnosis when it was first offered to me, and that was battling with chronic pain. That's how I came to hypnotherapy. My therapist basically suggested hypnotherapy, and I said, absolutely not. This sounds like brainwashing. And before I knew it, I'd been completely converted because I'd changed my life. It completely changed my life. I'm pain-free still, and this is now 6 years on. So that included in your goodie bag is also a really relaxing, beautiful hypnotherapy session, which is designed to help you to get a sense of the feeling of hypnosis, really being conscious to your body, getting that sense of what this is feeling like, and then also kind of to visualize what it is that you want for yourself. What is your life going to be like when it unfolds in the way that you want it to? And then the final portion of the goodie bag is a rapid relief technique, a guided session to relieve resistance, because I understand the stuff gets tough, the stuff gets hard. Nobody wants to feel bad. And sometimes we have to go into these places that may feel a little bit tough and difficult, especially when we're working through something that has been programmed from very, very young. So I'm here to support you. I work typically on a pay-as-you-go model. So you pay sessions as you go. That may change in the future depending on how I can best support my clients. It has been working really, really well up until now. I also offer 1 hour, 2 hour, and 3 hour sessions. I won't be talking about price in this video because that might change. And if you're interested in understanding and knowing what the pricing is, you're welcome to reach out to me. But if you click on the first session button, you'll get a good indication of what the first session will cost. So from there, you've got an option, as I said, to book 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Typically, my clients see me once a week for an hour. We do some really good work in the session. We have some outcomes for that session. Each week you'll get a prompt with a little questionnaire just to give a gauge in terms of how the week went and what you're wanting to get out of your follow-up session. So that also is designed there to support you as well. And then we can choose whether you want to slot in a RTT or hypnotherapy session. Your first RTT or hypnotherapy session will be 3 hours long. I know that sounds like, oh my goodness, this is such a long time. But I really like to give ourselves the spaciousness to answer any questions, make sure you're comfortable, make sure you feel okay and at ease in the space. I do operate exclusively online. It works really, really well for my clients. They love being able to be at home, especially after something quite intense and really kind of vulnerable, like a RTT session. And so being in their own home space feels really good for them. And of course, the coaching as well. I do also work with people all over the world, so I don't want to be location bound. So I invite people from any place in the world. I'm really blessed to be sitting in South Africa in Cape Town, and so I can be quite flexible in terms of most time zones, just in terms of where my times are. But your first rapid transformational therapy or hypnotherapy session with me will be 3 hours long. And that's if we choose to do that. Maybe you're finding really good results out of what we're doing in our sessions. And there's no priority or better solution. For me, it's really about what's right for you, what works for you. So if that's EFT tapping, then that's what we do. If there's a certain integrative change work process and that works for you, then that's what we do. If it's hypnosis, then that's what we do. There's no preference over which tool works best. For me, I believe we're all individuals. We're all unique. We have unique and individualistic ideas and goals and pasts and all sorts of things. And so we have to adapt to what is working and showing progress for you. So once a month, if need be, we can slot in an RTT session. And then going forward, any repeat sessions, so if we're doing any future RTT or hypnosis sessions, those will be 2 hours. Some of my clients like to book 2 hour sessions for coaching. So sometimes they just want that time. They want to sort of process something over that 2 hour time. So I like to keep things pretty easy, pretty simple. We can talk about it as well in your first session together, what it is that you want to work on, how long you think we should work together. You're welcome to book sessions up in advance. If you want to do that monthly, that's totally fine. So it's really quite flexible. Again, it's really focused on supporting you. It's what is right for you. Everything is by design based on you. With that said, I do have still a structure. My structure is the 5 phases of I. So those 5 phases of I are illuminate. So illuminate to yourself those blocks, those thoughts that are happening in your mind, that pattern that's running. Then we want to ideate What is the ideal outcome that you want? Then we want to interrupt, so actually block, interrupt, or sort of shake up what those patterns are. And then we want to install new preferred ideal things, ideal behaviors and habits, and then integrate them with this out of session techniques that I teach you. That also runs in terms of the meta pattern. It's very similar, aligned to the meta pattern, which I learned from Melissa Tiers, which is part of integrative change work. Very much the same. This is a proven and shown to work technique and process to take people through. And that's with all sorts of things. It doesn't really matter what the thing is that we're working on. These 5 phases are really proven to actually show marked change, to show long-term change, to show rapid change as well. So I hope this answers a few, or if not all of your questions. It's really important for me that you find a good connection with your coach, that you feel supported. 2 things that I always like to tell my clients up front as well is that confidentiality is obviously important. And so I like to state the obvious so that you feel that you can come into the space and really express yourself in the full extent that you need to. And then the second thing I like to also tell my clients up front is I like to create what I call a gracious space. This is a space where you can be who you need to be. I find that sometimes people in the industry talk about a safe space. And for me, safety, sorry, my nose is very itchy. I think there's a fluff on it. For me, safety is a little bit subjective. It's difficult to determine what might be safe for me, might not be safe for you, especially because the brain believes that safety is familiarity and comfort. And sometimes you might need to be pushed outside of your comfort zone, and that may feel unsafe. And so I don't feel that using the language, this is a safe space, really cultivates safety. But what I do think cultivates trust and safety is using the language, this is a gracious space. You can be who you need to be in this space. You can cry, you can swear, you can get angry, you can be gracious to yourself in terms of what is coming up. And we don't judge ourselves. This is a very unshaming space. A lot of the work I do with my clients is about unshaming. It's okay to feel the way that you feel. You're allowed to feel the way you feel. In fact, you're entitled to feel the way that you feel. And in a lot of cases, your body wouldn't produce those feelings if it wasn't real and true for you. So a lot of what the work that I do is about unshaming as well. And so we operate with a space of grace, grace for me, grace for you. I might not get it right every time. It doesn't mean that I'm not good at what I do. It just means that I don't get it right all the time, and we can have grace with that as well. So these are some really important points. I feel like I'm getting away with myself, and I'm really excited, and I want to tell you all the things. But I also respect your time, and I'm wanting you to kind of get a taste of what it's like to work with me and get a taste of what it's like in terms of how that relationship may unfold going forward. So your next steps is as follows. If you like the vibe, if you like me, if what I've said, you're like, this sounds really cool and interesting, then why not book your first session with me? You can book your first session, you can get access to all the things that I just talked about, and we can take it from there. So there's the first option. The second option is if you have some really burning questions and you want to get to know me a little bit more, I'm happy to schedule a synergy session with you. There's a link down below for you to fill out a form so that I can get to know you a little bit before as well. And then we can set up that time together. But whichever way this goes, whichever way this turns out from here, I'm really excited for you. I want you to honor this time and really take the time to find the right person. It's very important for me that you do that. And I really want to take this time to congratulate you and to get excited with you, because it's time now for you to step into your success. It's time now for you to own your success. And so I look forward to connecting with you. I look forward to meeting you. And until then, ciao. Mwah.